Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com coming to you with December 8th market wrap up. I have to say, I'm very happy for once. It's nice to see the market sustain a rally that actually shows volume actually increasing. And even though it's not huge, it's still nice to see the last 2 days gains that aren't 8%, but just like 3.8 and 3.6% for a total of almost an 8% move, but with volume higher each day on the S&P 500. Though volume is only above average today, and though the index is right at the 50-day moving average and actually got repelled at it intraday today, it's still something good to work on. And if anything, short term does put the index in a little bit more of a bullish situation than it would have been if volume would have been extremely low like the entire time here in August. Volume would have been doing this. Now, I would very, very much not be happy about this rally attempt at all, just like I wasn't in July and August. But it's holding, and even though the volume isn't huge, like I said, it's nice to see it moving up. And what makes it even better is that I can see stocks making bottoming patterns. I see stocks that have made lows on huge volume with BOP going to green or max green, and then have rallied and made higher highs and higher lows. Now, I'm not going to list those stocks for non-subscribers, but for subscribers in the next video, we're going to go through all of the longs that I'm watching for future long setups, and that could be longs within the next 2 weeks to about a month, because almost all, need a lot of work. There are 5 stocks that were long now. 3 did excellent today. 2 held in there. But one is a leading stock in the leading sector in the market right now, airlines. And we'll go over the airline stocks in the video 3, where I will just focus on the one sector. But I want to just show you what the market looks like for right now and just tell you that things look good out there, but we're not out of the water yet. Another instance of this, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You can see it got above the 50-day moving average, but closed right on it, failing right there too. Nice to see the volume increase each day, but the past 2 days, but still not able to get above that 50-day moving average. The NASDAQ 100, same thing. Look at where it's at, right near the 50-day moving average. One thing to notice about the NASDAQ volume, below average, both days that it's increased. Same with the NASDAQ, as you can see, below average. NASDAQ getting right at the 50-day moving average. And that goes to some of the stocks that, like, I'm going to go ahead and post that I'm going to go ahead and go over this one for everybody so you guys can get into my head a little bit on shorts. Apple's a stock that I was short in early 2008 and then fully covered it, and then went re-short the stock in September and held it to its 1 point low of 1120, which gave me a 50% gain. And I did take some at a 50% and got out with about a 49% gain. Right here, as you can see, it's closing above the 50-day moving average, but notice that volume is still well below average. Do you notice that volume isn't surging like on this day, or even on this day more preferably? If volume was closing over the 50-day moving average and I had a volume spike this big, I would fully cover Apple and say, okay, maybe we do have a bottom because I'm getting some full covers. But Apple is a partial cover today, which means I will only have 10% of my Apple short left. And that 10% is not going to be taken off the table until it closes above the 200-day moving average. By the time it does that, the 200-day moving average will come down until about the 130 area, which would still allow me to leave with a gain. And as of right now, I still have a 38% gain in my short on Apple. So even though it is closing above the 50-day moving average, it isn't a full cover because it's below average volume. So until it has a huge volume day that tells me to get out, there's no way of getting out. And for instance, for some of you that are not subscribers, I'll go and show you. It would be like this. Like, let's say volume surges like this, but it's an up day over the 50-day moving average. That's a full get out. Another stock that I'm short that has over an 80% gain from the top to bottom, 90% there. As you can see, I got 80% because I went short here, I do believe. Let's see. I can't even remember. I have to go look out at my records, but I know I have an 80% gain. That's about the most I got, was about 85%. Still, look, that wasn't a full cover, even whenever it was rising here, because volume is still showing up as distribution days when it's above average, and the rallies are on low average. So even though today's an up 20% day on CETV, I still can't fully cover. I can't. Where did I go short? Maybe it was up here. Yeah, that looks about right. So here's where I'm short from, and here's the total gain. I still have a 76% gain off my short, and there is no reason to fully cover. And until you get a huge up day on volume, there is no way to cover. Another one of my shorts that was up today, APD. Look at the volume. It's not a full cover. Let's see, was there any other one that I'm long with the big gain? CEO. Since I've gone short this stock, we've had a 56% gain, and it's still not a full cover because it's retaking the 50-day moving average on lower volume. So there were no full covers today in any of my long-term winners. So that should keep you realizing that maybe we haven't hit a bottom yet. And also to confirm that, we haven't, let's go back to the NASDAQ now. You see the volume spike in October and September. We didn't have that off the November low. So it's hard to say that we've had a capitulation volume. And now low volume bottom? Possibly, but normally that lasts a lot longer when you're this far extended under the 50-day moving average. So with no full covers today out of my 35 shorts, with 30 of them being 40% plus gainers, or 29 of them right around there, there's no full covers. That tells me that this market probably isn't done to the downside. Now, at the same time, like I'm telling you, I'm getting some basis to start showing up. So that tells me that there might be a possible low coming shortly, and even if the market hasn't hit a low, some stocks have probably hit a low, and they're just going to base out. And I'll name those in video 2. Look at gold. It was barely up today, still below the 50-day moving average. Let's look at silver. It's still below the 50-day moving average, but as you can tell, it wants to retake it. It could be the metal market might be trying to find a bottom here. Platinum, as you can see, looks like it, like I said, it's trying to find a bottom here. We'll see if it holds and turns up. If gold turns up, platinum and silver definitely will. And the other thing that supports that is the dollar index. Sadly today, oh, I keep pressing O instead of 0, so now here we go. It fell 1.41%, pretty rough today, but do you notice something? There's a little tail at the end of the day showing some support, and it's still holding above the 50-day moving average. That means there's nothing to worry about yet, still, if you were long from the retake of the 50-200-day moving average. You still have a 15% gain, and while you probably should take some profits now just in case it breaks, there's no reason to get fully out, so there's nothing to worry about there. And this weekend I told subscribers in the chat room that I believed oil has hit a capitulation low on at least the short term. Whenever I looked at my arithmetic chart and just saw the way that it went straight down like that on a 6-day, 9-day, and a monthly, and it actually hit 40, and the way that people started to call calls for it to go to 30, I said it's probably hit a low here at 40. Sure enough, a very bullish bounce today, and the very bullish bounce on a 7% gain sent oil near 44. So it is possible we might have seen the low in oil, especially with gold, platinum, and silver looking like it's possibly hit a short-term low. Now, hopefully for everybody out there, unless it tanks our stock market, hopefully oil will hit 30 for you guys. But for the people that aren't driving much, this isn't much of a tax cut. I heard that this is a tax cut. To me, I know to a lot of you it is, and I'm very happy, seriously, for all of you. Anybody that has to drive over 40 miles to work and back, I'm very happy for you all, and it is a huge tax cut. But for people like me, it's not a tax cut because I don't drive much at all anymore, especially now that I don't surf that much. So you got to take it in lockstep until the stock market starts going up a lot and the dollar continues to go up, and or the oil going to 40 that just doesn't help me. But I do like seeing oil down this low. It helps everybody, and I'm glad that it does. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. This is Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com. I'm going to come to you with part 2, show you all the stocks that are setting up in bases that could be possible longs, and then we'll go to part 3 where we'll deal with the leading industry of this market, which is actually leading stocks higher. Aloha.